Hello, this is Gary from up near Beaumont, Texas. Today we're going to be going over the different plants that I planted, tomato plants, and these tomato plants were planted January 18th and 19th, I think. And then I put them in ground February 17th. We did have a frost on it. Had a freeze. It got down to 30 degrees, maybe 29 degrees. I did cover them up. That was in a separate video. They all made that fine. So I've got I think I got 89 planted right now. I got to replace 2, so that brings it to 91. And then I will probably plant 4 or 5 more at one end of the row. But anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it around. We're going to kind of look at how they're looking at. They've been in the ground about 2 weeks, and show you what the tomatoes look like. Now, one thing that, I'm going to say, this here is called banana legs. And one thing that a lot of people worry about is the frost, because I had one person that I was going to give some tomato plants to. They said, well, are you worried about the frost? And I said, well, I've already had a freeze on them. And not really, because of frost. Now, for people that don't know what a frost is, or if you're from a different part, oh yeah, by the way, these last ones are invincible. A frost is when the temperature drops below 38 degrees and you get ice crystals that develop on the leaves, or on any other exposed surface. The temperature does not, it can be above 32 degrees, and because the surface of the leaf is colder than the outside of the temperature and all that. So that's not what happened. We did have a frost that morning, but it also was also below freezing. So you can have both. But a frost itself, all you have to do is cover it. If it's covered, you're not going to have a frost. So anyway, that's the BH59 there. Cherokee Red. Hocinators. The BH59 again, another Hocinator. These are my Determinate varieties. That's Defiant. And another Defiant. BHN 589. Another Defiant. Another actual Hocinator there, and another Hocinator, a Defiant, and Hocinator, Defiant, BHN 589, and another Defiant. Okay, they're growing good, looking good. That's Determinates. I don't grow a lot of different varieties of Determinates, because I'm just on a Determinate variety. I'm just hitting for production and hopefully taste. But production is the main thing. Now this one here, the big one's called Big Zack, and it's supposed to have a really big tomato. It's supposed to have good flavor too, I heard. Cherokee Purple, that's no standard heirloom variety a lot of people grow. Dr. Witchy, same way. It's an orange looking tomato. Does not keep very well at all. Doesn't make a whole lot, but my wife's one of her favorite tomatoes. Mountain Magic, that's one that is resistant to late blight. Another Big Zack. I try to plant 2 of each kind on my indeterminates, and that's Green Giant. Lucky Cross, it was one of the best tasting tomatoes from last year. Brandywine Pink, it was the other one. We had a taste test, and they beat out the Cherokee Purple and a couple of other varieties. Mountain Magic, again, that's a hybrid one. That's Green Giant. Something's kind of pecked on it, so it may have to come up. Doesn't look quite as good. Same thing with this here. It's kind of concerning with Lucky Cross. And then Brandywine Pink, Lemon Boy, Lucky Cross, Brandywine Pink again, and Cherokee Carbon. That's a hybrid that took the Cherokee Purple and the Carbon tomato and bred it together, hoping to give one that had the taste and disease resistance. The Polish, it's one that's a very, it just looks like a regular tomato, but it's supposed to have really good flavor, but it just doesn't look like it has great flavor. This is Large Barred Boar. First year I'm growing it. Aunt Ruby's Green, that's one that one of the subscribers recommended. Green tomato, and another Aunt Ruby's Green. I did plant them side by side for some reason. A Large Barred Boar there again. Another Cherokee Carbon. And Cherokee Carbon, actually, it's one of those in the green, Aunt Ruby's green. There's two of them that I actually planted later, like a week later after them. That's Lemon Boy, another Cherokee Carbon, Chef Black, and Chef Black was really productive one year. Another Dr. Witchy, another purple, Cherokee Purple. You notice you got different sizes, so they're going to vary. Another Polish, another Lucky Cross, Brandywine Pink, Chef Black, and Lemon Boy. And there's the stupid ants I'm trying to keep under control. Those were my indeterminates. These here are my cherry tomatoes, and that's Purple Bumblebee. It's been very productive. It's one of the dark purple, really pretty tomato. Also has stripes on it. Mountain Vineyard, and that sucker just will not take off. It does got good color to it. I am going to be watering these. But anyway, this is purple, another Purple Bumblebee. I'm going to water these one more time. I want to water them once when I'm planting them. They're looking good as far as vigor. They're all dark green. They're not struggling, so I don't see any reason to put fertilizer on them. They do have some horse manure. I did apply a little bit of fertilizer just in case the horse manure hadn't broke down yet. But anyway, there's the Sun Sugar, and it's a very sweet tomato, and Sun Gold. Both of those are some people's favorite. The Purple Zebra was one that I planted late, and I have not put it out yet. Going to here next day or two, but it just, in the pot, it just hadn't really taken off, but it was planted a week later than the other ones were. But anyway, Coyote, that's a small currant sized tomato that some people really love. Some people don't. But it is, that sucker grows like crazy, and actually produces a little bitty cherry tomatoes, but it's very prolific, very vigorous. Jasper, it's a new one I'm trying. It's supposed to be resistant to late blight. Another Jasper, and another Coyote, and Chocolate Cherry. At one time it was my favorite. I really kind of like Purple Bumblebee better as far as it looks better, and I think produces look better. The Chocolate Cherry, the biggest knock on it for me has been it has really large internodes, long internodes, so it gets really big. I mean, that thing can you know, if you was to try to trellis up, you'd get, you know, 10, 12 foot tall in a year. And that's our year where we don't grow all season. Another Chocolate Cherry, another Sun Gold, and another Sun Sugar, Purple Bumblebee. And see that Mountain Vineyard, all planted at the same time. Everything was done the same, and it's a lot bigger of a plant. Now, the other thing we're going to show very quickly, today we had the loquats that took, you know, we got down to, you know, 18, 20 degrees. I thought some of the fruit might survive. I'm beginning to wonder now. But, you know, we still got some on this one. And this one didn't look as good as the other one. I mean, is that fruit going to make it or not? I'm kind of doubting it. You know, still got small ones. I just think they haven't died yet. But anyway, this one didn't look as well. But then over here we had the old Nugget, and I was thinking it would, and that was Bradenton, I believe. This is Gold Nugget loquat, and you know, some of them look like they're going to make. I mean, that one looks like it's starting to grow and it's green. But if y'all remember, I showed a lot of them I thought was going to make it. So, so I think there's still going to be a handful. These low-lying ones seem to do a little bit better. You know, those there look like, now, not near as big as the ones I had in containers and I brought inside, which is a little concerning. But this is also this is also a smaller variety, so it doesn't get as big as the others do. That's kind of brought them. And it says Gold Nugget, so it's a nugget. It's not a big one. But like I said, a lot of them I thought was going to make it, like these in here. Just still went ahead and died up, you know, curled up and died. I think all the ones higher up have died on it. So anyway, but all of our trees are starting to take out and blooming. And these through here are my Chickasaw, improved Chickasaw, and they were blooming, and they've not bloomed completely out yet. So you see all these blooms, but when you get in close, you know, none of those blooms have bloomed out yet. So they make a massive amount of blooms. I was out here yesterday and the bees just had hit them and they were all over. You can hear them, you know, almost like a horror movie. They're not out yet. Even the smaller chickasaws are going to put on some blooms. So that's good. Now, one thing I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but I am going to be watering these again, and I will bank some of the dirt up on them and try to keep from blowing over. We do supposed to get some storms next weekend, and like 12 days out, 13 days out, it may get a frost again. It's not showing it yet. It's still showing temperatures in the 40s, but I've noticed sometimes that they start in the 40s and they work their way down. In fact, 10 days before we got the 20 degrees, 18 to 20 degrees, they were predicting 46 degrees. So yeah, long range forecasts are very inaccurate, but it does give you indication something may be moving down. And again, these are the other, this one here didn't bloom much last year. Since we're here, I'll go ahead and show y'all the potatoes. And they were ones that were very small when we had that freeze. And I did cover them with the leaves, and some of them got burnt back some. Like that one there, you know, it suffered some damage. These are the purple potatoes called Purple Majesty, and they will, you know, they're doing okay. Survives the freeze pretty good. Potatoes are good about surviving freezes. And then let's go on down here. You can see the pretty flowers on. Here's whenever this is pretty much fully bloomed out. So if anybody wants to come dig up a sucker from one of these, because the one of them is Guthrie and it doesn't grow out root sprouts. And then I got another one called Odom, and it does. And this here is a regular chickasaw, and it also throws out sprouts. So if you're needing some sprouts, I got them. Over there's a nectarine tree. Arctic Star, I believe it's called. And they're pretty too. And that plum hasn't come out yet. Another Arctic Star over there. That peach tree, I don't know if you can tell, it's already bloomed out, so I believe. That's where I got its leaves. This lemonade tree, the Jiu-Jitsu, hasn't bloomed out yet. This here is, and I was thinking that this might be Primark Freedom, but I'm pretty sure now it is still the Ponca, because it hasn't bloomed out like the others have. Because down here, I know these are Primark Freedoms, and they're got some blooms coming out. This one here's pushing out a bunch of blooms. Some blooms there. That's a tree that I was going to cut down. I might leave it just one more year or see how it blooms out. If it sets a lot of fruit. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is the other potatoes that I grew from leftover potatoes from last year. And they're coming out a lot thicker than I thought they would. And then I have the red potatoes. They've come up, you know, the ones I planted later, they're just not coming up now, but they're looking good too. This here is going to be where I'm going to plant my probably pole beans and stuff over here. I think I'm going to be growing my peppers. But anyway, that's the garden, and that's also the forest, I guess, my orchard tour. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. See you.